guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm coming at y'all with a workout commentary. In this video I have a bench and push day and a squat day, so let's get right into it. So this is the first of 3 bench days that I have on my program, and I lift the heaviest on the first day. So today I'm going for a heavy single. You see me here warming up with 225. I usually do around 4 warm-up sets before hitting my heavy single. So I started with the bar, then I did 135, 185, 225 that you're seeing right here, and in the next clip is 255, I believe. So it's more of a once I start getting into heavier weights like the 255, it's more of a mental thing, preparing me mentally, because my muscles are pretty warmed up. It's just preparing me mentally for the heavy single. So going into this single, I usually have in mind what I want to hit, and this week I wanted to hit 275, which was my previously calculated max. And what I'm focusing on during this single is keeping my butt down and my back tight and my elbows, keeping my elbows from flaring. So as you can see, in this, when I set up, I try to dig my back into the bench, and I try to place my feet in front of or my toes in front of my knees, because it makes it a lot easier for my foot placement. If I go behind, it kind of messes everything up. But going down, I try to touch right above my abs, and I try to push up and back. So when I unrack the bar is pretty much over my pretty much at eye level, and I'll come down, I'll go down in a curved motion to the top or right above my abs, and then I will push up and back, not straight up. I'll push up and back to the starting position, or the position I started in after I unrack the weight. So that's my focus, is making the bar go up and back while keeping my elbows tight, or keeping them from flaring, keeping my butt down and keeping my back tight. After the single, I had 3 back down sets, 3x3. I did with 245. They move pretty well, pretty smooth. Again, focusing on the same cues for form. I believe my bench form has improved a lot, and I attribute that to just focusing on the cues as much as I can. Moving on to my hypertrophy workout, or bodybuilding workout, you can call it whatever, it means the same thing. I usually do like two compound movements and like an isolation movement. So in this video, I ran out of time, right? I got to the gym. My gym closed at 6 on Sundays. I got to the gym at like 4:30. Yeah, so I ran out of time, so I wasn't able to do my full workout. But here I'm doing an incline dumbbell press for 3 sets by 8 to 10, or for 3 sets for 8 to 10 reps. I believe these are 85s. It wasn't extremely hard. I don't make it extremely hard. Like, it's tough, like especially on the last set and towards the end of every set. That's what I'm going for. The reps should be hard by the end of the set. But it wasn't like, I wasn't shaking and my arms didn't feel like they were about to fall off. But usually I only do 3 sets for for all of my hypertrophy workouts or exercises. I don't go over that, except for on squats. On Monday I do 4 sets for belt squat, but we'll talk about that once we get to squats. Here I'm doing a weighted chest dip, and my focus here is just to pretty much try to get as much work out of my chest as I can. So when doing these, I usually feel a lot in my triceps. So if you notice, I'm trying to lean over a little bit more to get my chest more involved, and I don't lock out on every rep, or pretty much every rep. Just because I'm trying to keep the tension on my chest and get as much work out of my chest as I can, because I feel like I work, or when I do these, I feel like I'm working or using my triceps more. It's turning more into a tricep movement than a chest movement. So I'm just trying to get my chest involved. I believe the weight I'm using here is a 25. Yeah, it's a 25-pound plate. I did start off with like a 10-pound plate. That was a little too light in my opinion for the rep range I'm going for. So like the rep range I'm going for right now is, I believe it's 10. Yeah, 8 to 10. Yeah. So pretty much all my rep ranges for this day is pretty much 8 to 10. And yeah, the one thing that's pretty hard about these is the weight starts swinging. If you notice, the weight starts swinging like back and forth, and it makes it kind of awkward to keep in place. But after this, I had I call these, I think there's like an actual name for it, but I call this leaning lateral cable raises, because I'm leaning and I'm doing lateral raises with the cable. But I don't know what the actual name is for it. But basically, usually you hold on to the cable machine. For some reason, these have handlebars. This is the first time I've ever seen it. And you just do a lateral raise. You put the cable in between your legs and you do a lateral raise. This is gonna work your lateral delt. Your lateral delt does not get as much, I don't know, or is not activated as much during like benches or shoulder presses like your anterior delt is. Your anterior delt gets a lot of work during like benching movements or during pressing movements in general. So I really don't do that I don't do like front raises, because I don't need to, because my anterior delt gets a lot of work during pressing movements. Moving on to my triceps. I was actually supposed to do a shoulder press after this, but I didn't have time, so I just moved on to triceps. And I did a overhead dumbbell tricep extension. The main focus on this is basically just to keep my elbows tight. Because before I did this before, and I used to just let my elbows flare out, and I injured my shoulder doing that, because that puts a lot of stress on your shoulder. So I try to keep my elbows tight and push the weight up and lower the weight in a controlled fashion. Alright, moving on to squats. Alright, before I even start talking about this, this was a horrible squat session in my opinion. It was just bad, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But just like bench, or not just like bench, but similar to bench, I squat 2 days a week. This is the first of the two, so it's heavy single. And I do around the same kind of for warm-up sets. I do more for my warm-up, but as far as like warm-up sets with the like squatting movement, I do around four sets. So that set you saw, or that last set you saw, was 225. This is 315 right now. I do the bar 135, 225, 315, and then after 315 I start to go up in smaller increments. So I believe after this set I do 325 for a warm-up set, and then after that set, that's when I get into my heavy single. But this session was not good. For one, the rack that I'm on right now was extremely unstable, and that's not an excuse, but it was just throwing me off. But once I did my heavy single right here, I didn't like the way it felt. So what I did is I went up. So this is 365 right now, and I went up 5 pounds, I think 370. And you're gonna see that was a horrible idea. But really what I'm focusing on with squat, and I'm still working on my form with this, I'm trying to keep my back tight. I'm trying to keep my elbows in line with my body, as you can see right here, they're not really in line. So I'm still trying to work on my hand placement and stuff. I'm trying to focus on pushing through my whole foot. Trying to feel the weight on the whole foot, not just on my toes, not just on my heels, on my whole foot. This is when I move up because I wasn't happy with the last single, which it moved pretty well. But this one, this did not move well at all, in my opinion. My forearm just broke down, in my opinion, and yeah, it wasn't a good look. So I should have just stuck with 365 and moved on to my back down sets. So for my back down, I did 325 for a 3x3. They moved pretty decent. I'm actually squatting in shoes. You can't see it, but I'm squatting in shoes. I usually don't, so that also could have been a factor as to why my squats were feeling a little bit off. Squats is probably my worst lift. They just don't feel, I'm not as comfortable with them as I am with deadlifting and bench. But moving on to my accessories, I'm doing a belt squat. So on legs, I don't really do like a high hypertrophy workout. I'll do my my heavy single or heavy double, my back down sets, and then I'll pick 2 accessory movements and call it a day. And my legs be feeling pretty nice after that. But pretty much for a belt squat, it just takes the load off of my back, while still being able to work my quads. So this mainly works your quads. It's a quad focused exercise. I usually save like my hamstrings and my glutes for deadlift day. But I'm going for, I think, about 10 reps. I do 4 sets. I do my first 2 sets are 10 to 12, and then my last 2 sets are 8 to 10. So that's what I'm doing on belt squats. Lunges, they're just a great exercise all around. They work your core. They are a what's it called? I don't want to say it works your heart, but it gets you breathing hard. It's not just like a squat, or it gets you breathing hard. I was really tired after these. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, so my focus on this is touching, like trying to tap my knee onto the ground, and pushing off of my foreleg, so the leg that's in front and not of my back leg, because the leg I'm trying to work, the leg I'm stepping out with, right? So I'm trying to push off with that leg, bring as much force as I can back with that leg, while keeping the bar steady on my back, keeping my back tight, and yeah, that's pretty much it for lunges. They're just a pretty great exercise. I prefer walking lunges, in my opinion. I mean, these are great, like just standing in place and doing it, but walking lunges, in my opinion, I just like them better. I just feel more stable while doing them. As you can see, I'm real tired. Yeah, those are tough. But yeah, that's the workout, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, share, subscribe. Remember, keep grinding.